Strategies for developing your reading skills. Types of reading. The most important lesson in developing your reading skills is the understanding of different types of reading. You will be able to efficiently increase your reading by using the type of reading that is most appropriate to the task you need to complete. This will help you not to apply the wrong reading type over a task that requires a different reading approach. For example, there is no need to use skimming reading method in a task that requires thorough reading. On the other hand, you will waste your time trying to read thoroughly a material that requires skimming. Hence, you should make reading appropriate to the material you are working with. There are several types of reading which can be categorized as follows. Intensive reading. Extensive reading. Combination of intensive and extensive reading. Scanning. Skimming. Combination of scanning and skimming. Intensive reading. Intensive reading calls attention to grammatical forms, discourse markers, and other surface structure details for the purpose of understanding literal meanings, implications, rhetorical relationships, and the like. During intensive reading, content and grammatical structures repeat themselves and students get many opportunities to understand the meaning of the text. The success of intensive reading on improving reading skills is based on the idea that the more familiar the reader is with the text, either due to the subject matter or having read other works by the same author, the more comprehension is promoted. Characteristics of intensive reading. Usually classroom-based. Reader is intensely involved in looking inside the text. Students focus on linguistic or semantic details of a reading. Students focus on surface structure details such as grammar and discourse markers. Students identify key vocabulary. Students may draw pictures to aid them, such as in problem solving. Texts are read carefully and thoroughly, again and again. Aim is to build more language knowledge rather than simply practice the skill of reading. Seen more commonly than extensive reading in classrooms. Skills for intensive reading. Rapid reading practice. Interpreting text by using word attack skills, text attack skills and non-text information. Extensive reading. Extensive reading is carried out to achieve a general understanding of a text. Extensive reading occurs when students read large amounts of high-interest material, usually reading out a material in the class, concentrating on meaning, reading for gist, and skipping unknown words. The aims of extensive reading are to build reader confidence and enjoyment. Extensive reading is always done for the comprehension of main ideas, not for specific details. Characteristics of extensive reading. Students read as much as possible. A variety of materials on a range of topics is available. Students select what they want to read. The purposes of reading are usually related to pleasure, information, and general understanding. Reading is its own reward. Reading materials are well within the linguistic competence of the students in terms of vocabulary and grammar. Reading is individual and silent. Reading speed is usually faster. Teachers orient students to the goals of the program. The teacher as a reader is a role model for the students. Combination of intensive and extensive reading. It is common for both approaches to reading to be used in the same class. For example, where extensive reading is encouraged, the teacher may have all the students read the same text so they can discuss the topic together or learn a specific skill, such as writing an outline. In a class where intensive reading is mostly used, students may be asked to read texts of their own choosing to report back on, in either an oral or written format. In both approaches, it is not the nature of the skills that are of most interest, rather, the results. Scanning. Scanning is quick reading, focusing on locating specific information. Scanning involves quick eye movements. not necessarily linear in fashion, in which the eyes wander until the reader finds the piece of information needed. Scanning is used when a specific piece of information such as a name, date, symbol, formula, or phrase, is required. The reader knows what the item looks like and so knows when he has located what he was searching for. It is assumed then, that very little information is processed into long-term memory or even for immediate understanding. When it is used, scanning is often used with technical, scientific, or professional materials to locate specific information. Scanning is a valuable skill for second language learners to develop, because often they do not require detailed reading of a text. There are everyday uses for scanning, relevant to a purpose, such as reading a schedule. Skimming. Skimming is a quick reading to get to know the general meaning of a passage. To know how the passage is organized, that is, the structure of the text. To get an idea of the intention of the writer. Skimming is a more complex task than scanning because it requires the reader to organize and remember some of the information given by the author, not just to locate it. Skimming is a tool in which the author's sequence can be observed, unlike scanning in which some predetermined information is sought after. When it is used, skimming is used when reading with some general question in mind. Skimming is used in making decisions on how to approach a text, such as when determining if a careful reading is deserving. Skimming is used to build student confidence and an understanding that it is possible to gain meaning without reading every word in a text. Skimming is used as part of the SQ3R method of reading, often for speed reading. This method involves the student in surveying, questioning, reading, reviewing and reciting. Skimming is used for the initial survey and for review. Skimming is a skill that a student may want to develop if they are planning to continue with academic studies. It is often used in reviewing for a test. Combination of skimming and scanning. Skimming and scanning are sometimes referred to as types of reading, and at other times, as skills. Skimming involves a thorough overview of a text and implies a reading competence. Scanning is more a limited activity, only retrieving information relevant to a purpose. Often skimming and scanning are used together when reading a text. For example, the reader may skim through first to see if it is worth reading, then read it more carefully and scan for a specific piece of information to note. Students need to learn that they need to adapt their reading techniques to the purpose of the reading. By practicing skimming and scanning, the individual learns to read and select specific information without focusing on information that is not important for meaning. Reading strategies. Read the information in the text. Reread the information. Make notes on the topics raised in the course unit. Reread the information again, keeping the topics in mind. Be aware of the type of material you are reading. You will improve the quality and efficiency of your reading if you keep in mind the type of material you are reading. This may not be immediately apparent, and you may need to do some initial reading to establish the type of text you have. Do this as quickly as possible and adjust your reading type to suit. Your style of reading should be appropriate to the type of text. There is no need starting to read in depth if you have not yet established the suitability of the material. Also, you shouldn't dwell on a text if you are supposed to be searching for a piece of information. Whenever possible, be ready to switch your approach to suit the reading task at hand. Read with the purpose of understanding. Make up your mind on the purpose of your reading task before you begin. Keep reminding yourself of the principal objectives whilst you are reading. The study should be alive in your mind. Be prepared to concentrate and take notes for serious study. Summary. The understanding of different types of reading, such as intensive reading, extensive reading, combination of intensive and extensive reading, scanning, skimming, combination of scanning and skimming, will enable you to choose the type of reading that is most suitable for the reading task. A quick review. or the understanding of the reading needs, will help you to establish the right approach of reading which meets the requirement of the task. Above all, reading is for the purpose of understanding. Without understanding there is no learning, and reading becomes a waste of time, energy, and resources. At Talent and Skills Hub, you can be supported by our instructors, academic skills advisors, and mentors for sessions on quality academic writing and study skills. You can book an appointment for one-to-one or group tutoring through our website, tshub.com.